And the 2022 AP Most Valuable Player is Patrick Mahomes.
First, I want to thank God for giving me this platform and putting so many amazing people around me. To the Chiefs organization, I would never be standing here today without y'all. Every day, giving everything that we have together to go for the ultimate goal, the Super Bowl. Let's continue to go for that dream this weekend.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, served by Applebee's.
Let's continue to go for that goal indeed. Patrick Mahomes accepting his award for the MVP at the NFL Honors Award last night. It is noon Eastern on Peacock, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere, Jay Croucher. I'm Matthew Berry, and I don't know how to feel about this, because on the one hand, and we're live from the Super Bowl, obviously, Radio Row, our last day here. On the one hand, I'm happy he won the MVP because, A, he deserved it.
Yes.
Right? Not everyone who won the award last night, and we'll get into that in a second,
correct,
necessarily deserved the award. But he won the award and he deserved it, which is great. And we called that. We said Patrick Mahomes is going to win this award, and we got that right, so we look smart for that. Great. But what is it? The last 7 quarterbacks to win MVP that then played in the Super Bowl did not win the Super Bowl, and we're both Chiefs guys.
Yes, it's a curse,
Yes.
but curses are there to be broken, Matthew. I think the last time an MVP won the Super Bowl was Kurt Warner in 1999, which doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Someone asked me that question as trivia last night. Who was the last quarterback to do that? I was like, I don't know, Tom Brady probably, but Brady didn't do it, and yeah, so we're going to have to break a curse.
Right, and I believe that was Kurt Warner that was presenting the award.
Exactly, so the curse
there
is
you
thus,
go.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some mojo there. Maybe we can talk ourselves into that. So, listen, a lot of award winners last night. The NFL celebrating, rightfully so. Outstanding performances on the field. Here are some of the winners here. Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year. He finished third. Here's what sucks about this, because I liked Brian Daboll.
Yes.
Brian Daboll did a great job. I'm a Brian Daboll fan. If I'm a Giants fan, I'm not a Giants fan, but I think the people that are Giants fans, like our own Chris Sims, should be thrilled about the direction the franchise is heading. But their preseason win total was 7.
Yes.
They finished third in their division.
Yeah. My thing is, look, Daboll's a fantastic coach. He would have been on my top 3 ballot if I had a vote. And the problem is that if he did this in Carolina, then he wouldn't be in the mix. And we know this because Pete Carroll had the exact same case as Brian Daboll and didn't even finish in the top 5 because he's in Seattle in more obscurity. So I think it's just speaks to the power of the New York market. And I think it's something to consider next year when we're talking about these types of awards, that New York matters a lot.
But listen, a lot of the ones we did get right. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner. Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa, we predicted that. Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year, we predicted that as well. Obviously, and Comeback Player of the Year, Geno Smith. I think the only one we got wrong was Offensive Rookie of the Year. We went back and forth on that one.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Garrett Wilson won ultimately. I mean, a lot of momentum was going his way, but I thought Kenneth Walker had a similar amount of yards, doubled his touchdowns, was on a playoff team while Garrett Wilson wasn't. I think Kenneth Walker, he just tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season. He was dealing with the ankle injury. He didn't have
That's
the
what it was.
touchdowns
It was
at
the
end.
injury. I mean, like he got no points for playing through the injury, and they just seem to hate Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Geno did win, but Pete Carroll should have been in the Coach of the Year mix, and we would have wanted KW3 as Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
So anyway, all those players absolutely outstanding, all of them winning awards, but there's one person that I don't think is going to be winning any awards from the NFL. Let's take a look at this. So this is Jay Croucher.
Yeah, look at that slant. In. Lawrence Jackson doesn't have a prayer of guarding me. It's just couldn't get the catch there. But look at this. I don't know why I look like a baby giraffe when I run, like a slow baby giraffe. That's not a push-off. 2 feet in bounds. Yes.
So here we go.
Jamar Chase had to do that.
This is you guys.
Not great closing speed. See, I don't have the tightness in the hips is the issue.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that Denny Carter?
Yeah, Denny Carter not throwing the ball.
No,
like
he just got sacked.
Kirk Cousins doesn't want to throw into double coverage. I didn't know how
Jay got
predicting the throw there.
And you were open there for a minute, so part of it's on Denny.
Well, here's the thing. Lawrence Jackson.
You guys at the NFL Experience, for people that are just listening, we just watched awkward footage of Jay Croucher at the NFL Experience doing things that were sort of football adjacent?
Yes, athletic adjacent as well. I'm not sure. There's a lot going on in that. I like the catch video. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to run the footage of me throwing a football, that's the really embarrassing stuff. It's really hard to throw a football as an Australian.
Well, okay, there you go. That's the thing. Did you ever play Australian rules football as a kid?
I did. I played all through my youth. That was kind of my sport growing up. But
Really?
it's different. It's different. Australian football is, you're not throwing the ball. You're kicking it.
You're right. You're kicking it and beating the crap out of each other, right?
Exactly. We don't wear helmets either,
Right.
Which I think is actually safer, weirdly, because you're not leading with your head. But yeah, it's. I don't think American football is going to be my thing going forward. But American football is something for Tyler Lockett.
Yes,
Matthew.
He's a very good receiver. He does get separation. He's able to move his hips. He's pretty much everything, Jay Croucher, that you are not. And we spoke to him about that and many other topics yesterday. Let's roll that tape.
Tight slot on the far side. Now in motion comes Johnson. Play fake. Geno has some time. He's going to rear back and throw it deep for the end zone. Got a man out there. Reaching out. Making a catch. Touchdown, Seahawks. Tyler Lockett running past Hill and the rest of the Rams defense. And a perfect, and I mean perfect throw from Geno Smith. 36 yards. A touchdown for the Hawks within a point of tying this up.
All right, our thanks to our friends at DirecTV for letting us talk to Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, last year, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 84 receptions, Jay Croucher. I know you doubted him. I never did. He was anti-you, just so you know, Tyler.
doubted me?
I always doubted you, Tyler. Yeah.
Now, the 13th best wide receiver in fantasy football for a team that, coming into the year, a lot of people didn't expect much from. But tell me about what you saw in Geno Smith in training camp that made you think maybe, hey, you know what? They don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would start to even say when Geno first came on the team, everybody saw what he could be able to do. And a lot of people just see his production right now, and they're like, oh, wow, who would have thought? But, like, we're talking about a dude who went against the number ones all the time when he was with the Seahawks. So he had an opportunity to go against the best of the best every single day while trying to prepare them to be able to get ready for the game. So, I mean, everybody kind of knew what was already there. For him to be able to get that opportunity, though, I mean, that's something that he's prepared for while he was even with the Seahawks. You don't just get that opportunity if you haven't put in the work before. They've seen enough to say, okay, we're willing to give you this opportunity. We're willing not to try to go get people from out of house. We're willing to give you the chance. And so, I mean, the way that he played, man, he played so phenomenal, and I was really happy for him. But, I mean, he trained for that.
Yep. Now, the NFL honors are tonight, and Geno Smith is nominated for Comeback Player of the Year along with Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. Now, going to go out on a limb, and you think that Geno should win that award?
Yeah, I think Geno should win that award.
If the vote's already in, but if for some reason voters are watching this, why would you, and you could stump for your quarterback, what would you say? Why does this guy deserve the award?
I would say if you look at any profession and somebody took 7 years off, and he came back, and once he got that opportunity, he was one of the best to play in that profession. He has to be able to have a chance to win Comeback Player of the Year. It's hard to be able to sit out for 5 months, right?
Yeah.
And come back. That's why we got to go through spring training, all that stuff. But for somebody who hasn't gotten to play for so long, who finally got a shot, and he was a Pro Bowler, he's up for Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, that says a lot for a person and as a player. So don't get me wrong. I think everybody that's up for that award should win. It shouldn't just be for one player.
Yeah. We agree, by the way, and we also think Brian Robinson should be allowed to win, to be nominated for the award. Like, that's something to come back from too. But for whatever it's worth, on the show yesterday, we both said Geno Smith deserves to win this award. As we said, they wrote him off, but he ain't right back. Right?
I think he's going to win, but we'll see. So, Tyler, you and DK Metcalf, very different types of receivers. What's the dynamic like between the two of you?
Man, I think it's fun, man, because we learn how to play off of one another. We got different skill sets, but there's times when we got to be able to lean on each other's skill sets to be able to learn how to win certain matchups, where it's not just DK winning off of physicality, but sometimes I got to win off of physicality, and sometimes DK has to win with his feet. So there's a lot of things that we learn off of one another. Like, we help one another with some of the ways that we see the game, with things of how we play. But I think the biggest thing is, like, just being that 1-2 punch. We know that there's going to be games where the teams might lean on him more than me, or there might be games where it's vice versa, but we always stay in it because we know that we need each other in order to help this team get as far as they want to go.
Tyler, you are the only wide receiver in the NFL with 8 receiving touchdowns in 5 straight years. You're the only guy that can say that. You've had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Talk to me about your consistency. What's weird is I think most people just sort of glance and say, Tyler Lockett, he's a deep threat, right? And obviously you are. That's a part of your game. But deep threats, sometimes it's inconsistent because it's hard to hit those deep shots.
Right.
So talk to me about how you're flying down the sidelines, and yet year after year you're putting up 1,000 yards, you're putting up 8 touchdowns, and you're literally the only guy in the NFL that's done it for 5 years.
Man, I think it's just opportunity. Not everybody's given the same opportunity. I've been blessed to be a part of the Seahawks, and they've given me this opportunity to be able to play. And, I've been able to get more targets. I've been able to showcase my abilities a lot more. And it's hard to just say that, but to the quarterbacks as well, but also to how the defenses play. There's times where the coordinators will try to get you the ball, but the defense plays a great defense, and, they stop you from getting it. But, just opportunity, dedication, man. I play for my faith in God, and so that motivates me and wants me to continue to learn how to be better and do better. But I'm learning that it's not just about stats. Like, the stats tell a story, but it's really your impact that really tells the true story about who you are as a person and what you bring to a team.
Yep. Tyler, I want to ask you about Kenneth Walker, who's also up for an award tonight, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And now we're a fantasy show, and Kenneth Walker was a big part of the fantasy season. He's on a lot of waiver wires. People picked him up. People won their leagues, thanks to people like him and yourself. When did you know that Kenneth Walker was going to be that good?
In off season, whenever we were training, I was telling people he was the best rookie I ever seen.
Wow.
And,
really?
You could just see once he gets the ball in his hands, he's one of the most dynamic players that you can see. Even in some games, you've seen him make cuts where you're like, how did he do that? He was running full speed. He stopped on a dime, ran all the way back to the other side and didn't lose speed. That's just a gift that not too many people have. And to see what he did as a rookie, man, rush for 1,000 yards, man, he played a big part of our success, and really happy just to be able to see how much he elevated his game, especially mentally. He already has the capabilities and the abilities on the field, but to be able to have that mentality that goes with IQ of the game, that's what pushes him up front too.
Yeah, I think the other thing there is that he was playing hurt at the end of the year too, right? He was on the injury report all the time and was still able to perform. He was huge in that last game particularly.
That mentality, man, the mentality not to be stopped even if your body says no.
I will tell you that I think it would have been helpful if we talked to you last year and you could have said, listen, I'm in these off-season workouts and Ken Walker's the best rookie I've ever seen in my life. So help us look to the future next year. Who's a guy? Everyone knows you. Everyone knows DK. Everyone knows Geno and Ken Walker now. Who's a guy on the Seahawks that's maybe under the radar that you think is going to take the next step next year that we should have our eye on?
I think the person that I think is going to take numerous steps is Cade Johnson.
Okay.
So he's a receiver on our team. Got a chance to be able to be that number 3 the last couple of games, and was getting his feet wet, was making some big-time catches that we needed, and he was consistent the whole entire year. Just had to wait for his opportunity. Sometimes when you're a non-drafted guy, you just got to wait for your chance, and he's been getting his chances these last couple games, and he's took off with it.
That's great because, the thing with Seattle for years, it's been Tyler and DK and Tyler, but, we've been waiting for that third wide receiver to emerge for the Seahawks. So, Cade Johnson, I like that.
I like it. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Now, Tyler, I know you're here courtesy of DirecTV. Can you speak a little bit about your partnership with them?
Yeah, well, we all know that they've been a leader for nearly 30 years when it comes to live TV, and when it comes to what I'm trying to say, when it comes to live TV and it comes to the streaming access part of it, the ultimate destination for NFL fans. One of the things that I'm here to talk about today is just the fact of having an opportunity to be with Ronald McDonald Housing Charity, being able to provide access for kids when it comes to the entertainment, whether it's cartoons or whether it's sports. And another one of the cool things is that we'll be out there playing cornhole Friday night, so you'll be able to see me on DirecTV live streaming. So it's one of the things I'm excited about, man. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. We're going to try to go out there and win.
You are, in fact, yes. You're competing for DirecTV and the Ronald McDonald House and Pro-Am Cornhole Tournament Friday night with Ryan Fitzpatrick, Justin Turner, and Jock Peterson. How's your cornhole game?
We're going to see. I mean, everybody's going to be watching live, so I got to make sure it's good. I think the person that we're going to be playing is Fitzpatrick, so hopefully that Fitz magic isn't going to happen.
Are you an underhanded guy or are you a flip guy?
I'm an underhanded guy.
You're an underhanded guy.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the play. Yeah, you get a bit more leverage on it. I think that's the play.
Yeah. I think, but usually in cornhole, like one of the sides is more slick and the other side of the bag is, so like sometimes you like want to flip it so it lands on the sticky,
short,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Nah, it's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's Friday night. You could be able to watch it on the live stream. It's going to be exciting.
there's no question about that. Last question for me, and take this in whatever way you want. I'm curious, your former teammate Russell Wilson was in the news quite a bit. A weird year for him last year. What did you make of his season in Denver?
I mean, I just think that, you just got to be able to get adjusted to everything. That's one of my best friends. Like, I love him. And, it's crazy just how many people just talk about, bad about him and stuff like that. I wish him the best in everything. And that's the one thing about this league is that, we have brotherhood. We have a group of brotherhoods that stick together. But, like in our faith, it always talks about, like, if people aren't talking about you, then you're doing something wrong. And so, I think Russ is going to continue to let his light shine, continue to be that leader that we all know that he could be. I mean, he's done so much for us. Like, the dynamic of who he is on the field and off the field. And so I think, it takes time for other people to really see it. But, I mean, you don't really miss a good thing until it's gone. And, I mean, we've missed him as a brother. We missed him as a player. And now we see, that he's with another team. But, it might take time for them to be able to see, everything that he brings to the table because he's the ultimate competitor. Like, he's going to – every time you have an opportunity and a chance to win, he's going to give you that chance to be able to win. We've seen it day in and day out. The Green Bay game, we always talked about it when it was like 4 interceptions and he still led the team down to be able to win and take them to the Super Bowl. Like, that's the Russ that we know, and that's the Russ that we'll continue to know because he's that caliber of player each and every game. And so, I just wish him all the best this next upcoming year and stuff like that, and that's forever going to be my brother.
Yeah, which is awesome, by the way. We actually said on the show this week when it was announced that Sean Payton was officially named coach for the Denver Broncos, we are officially, as a show, we're on a big bounce back year for Russell Wilson. So anyway, listen, Tyler, continued success to you both in real life and in fantasy, and especially in cornhole on Friday night. Bring home the title for DirecTV. Thanks so much. Everyone's going to watch that on live stream. And I love that you guys are raising money for the Ronald McDonald House Charities, which is just an unbelievable charity.
Yes, sir.
Continued success to you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, 49ers superstar, tight end, man bun extraordinaire, George Kittle joins the show. All right, we're back on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour, live from Radio Row in wonderful Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be joined shortly by George Kittle, but we're going to talk some Super Bowl props.
Absolutely. By the way, I believe that was the definitive Tyler Lockett interview.
It was.
He was great.
He's magnificent.
He's an easy guy to root for.
Yes,
he's
absolutely.
an easy guy to root for.
Also made me think a bit more of Russell Wilson, just how kind of vigorously he defended and spoke of Russell Wilson, and the fact that that's out there. Big bounce back here. We're on the record. We're buying Russell Wilson stock.
Yes.
It's at its low point, lowest point in history, but it's the time to buy. And I think the Broncos, they'll be a playoff team next year.
I think they've certainly got a shot. I'm a Sean Payton believer, and it's interesting, but I mean, I think we're too quick as a society to just write people off.
Yep.
Right? And so I thought that, especially because you saw some rumblings that came out of Seattle from some other teammates, just sort of revisionist history, throwing Russ under the bus. So I liked how vigorously, to your point, he defended Russ.
Yeah,
Tyler
didn't have to go to that extent. He could have just said, the stuff that you say when you kind of tacitly defend your quarterback, former player.
He'll be great, and we wish him well, and we had a lot of success together, blah, blah, blah.
He took 2 next steps beyond that, so
he did.
Yeah, good for you, Ross. All right, let's talk about the most bet props on BetMGM for the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce, who's been a very popular bet across a lot of markets to score the first touchdown, is plus 650. Anytime touchdown scorer, minus 125. Result of the coin toss, heads, minus 105 there. And then Eagles defeat the Chiefs by the exact score of 37-34, which is 80-1 for those who believe that the script has been written.
That's a weird one to me. Not that the weird part to me is the fact that people are betting the correct score, that's one of the 5 most popular bets when you think about the thousands of bets that BetMGM takes every single day. That's something at plus 8,000.
I feel like
correct score is the most popular bet.
Well, I feel like someone might have posted on Twitter or something that they've seen the script for the Super Bowl, and it's 37-34. I'm not sure that would be in the top 5 if not for all the script stuff that's floating around. And then we've got Patrick Mahomes over 0.5 interceptions at minus 110, which I think is a perfectly reasonable bet. But I kind of prefer Jalen Hurts at plus 115 to throw an interception.
I do too, but I don't mind that bet. I mean, of the ones that were listed there, in terms of which of the most bet props would I like the most, I like Patrick Mahomes to throw a pick at minus 110.
Yes.
I mean, just given the gimpiness of the ankle, given the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles, given the fact that no team in the NFL had more sacks this year than the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they'll get pressure on Patrick Mahomes and maybe force him into a turnover.
Yep. I think so. I think, with Kelsey, I think with his props, that's interesting with the plus 650 first touchdown score, anytime touchdown score, minus 125. I mean, it just does feel that he is going to get in the end zone, that Mahomes is going to target him in the Super Bowl, as George Kittle is walking across now.
Yeah. It's just, exactly.
It's very good. I like this.
Yeah, come on in, man.
Yeah. Well,
just slide on over.
How close can I get to you without making you uncomfortable?
Yeah, there we go. I like this. Well, we were just talking about Travis Kelce, but now that we've got our own tight end on the set, let's...
Wait, those are good. I am not betting on the Super Bowl, but those are good bets.
Yeah, those are great bets. All right, well, we welcome in George Kittle now.
So,
we've got
fantasy football royalty, superstar, George Kittle.
How we doing?
Accomplished singer. Now,
I'm getting there.
Obviously, any record deals? Have any record deals come through since last night?
I have some demos I'm going to release on SoundCloud later.
Okay, absolutely. We will link to your SoundCloud when we release the clip of this. All right, so the force of nature that is George Kittle is joining us here on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Great season. Congratulations on this. 11 touchdowns this season. That is a career high. You finished as the number 2 tight end in fantasy on a points per game basis. It's your 5th straight season finishing as a top 4 fantasy tight end. I know you don't care about that. You care about helping the Niners win, but for our purposes as well, we're rooting for the Niners, but we're also rooting for George Kittle specifically.
I appreciate that.
I'll start there. Of your 11 touchdowns, 7 of them came with Brock Purdy under center. Talk to me about what the connection you and Brock had.
I think the success I've found, my best receiving yard games was either with Jimmy G when he started 16 straight games in 2019, or in 2018 when I set a record that Travis broke, but was C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins, both young quarterbacks. I was a young tight end, but they feed their tight ends just because it's a safety blanket. It's the easiest throw most of the time, right? Most receiver routes, some of those are kind of deep and off. I'm doing some chip stuff where I'm just kind of hanging out the 5 to 6 yard area. And so I think Brock did a fantastic job he was very good of going through his reads, and if something wasn't there, if a defensive end came up, he was always good at just finding me late. And you see a lot of his touchdowns that he threw to me where he would be scrambling and just kind of see something and dump it to me late because he's really good at keeping his eyes up. So his mobility is a factor that really helped out all of us, really, because we've never played with a quarterback that could move like that. Just his quickness, he gets out he can get outside the defensive end and have the whole edge by himself for 3 or 4 seconds, and guarding someone for 7 to 8 seconds is really hard in the NFL. So that's where those openings come in.
Yep, George. I know you talk a lot about football. I don't really want to talk about football. I want to talk about hair. I want to talk about hair because we were watching the NFL Honors last night.
By the way, and you understand the reason he wants to talk about hair, to screw with me.
No,
I have none.
You're beautiful.
I appreciate you. I love you. But yes, I'm massively jealous of your beautiful locks.
I'm not going to cut it because I'm scared it won't grow back. That happened to Robbie Gould. Robbie Gould shaved his head for a charity thing and never grew back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm scared.
I will say my friend and former colleague Tim Hasselbeck was like, listen, you got to fire it before it quits on you. So I'm getting to about that point where I got to fire it.
Yeah, you got to do what LeBron did. You got to bite the bullet.
Hey, my dad's been bald consciously for 20 years. Now I don't know if he can still grow it anymore, but he's just been bald for 20 years.
All right,
so
it's a good look.
We were watching the NFL Honors last night. And we were kind of just marveling at the crispness of the man bun. Want to know Because I had a man bun briefly in my younger youth in Australia, and it just didn't work at all. It was like a half Asian Australian kind of. It was like Val Kilmer in Heat, but like bad, like a really bad Val Kilmer in Heat.
I don't know if that could be bad.
Well, I made it bad. I did my job, but just want to know about your process, how you get it kind of so crisp. And just talk me through that.
My wife does
She does it for you. Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
That's
no.
the key,
When
then.
I'm working and I need to look really nice, I'm like, hey, honey, I need you over here, please.
Right.
I'm always set with the bands.
Yeah.
Use 2 bands. You got to tie it up super tight, get it long like a ponytail, and then you wrap it like I'd like to do the ballerina bun.
Yes.
Can you do it now?
It won't. I can, yes. It just won't look as good.
Okay.
It won't. And I'll do it for you guys. But I'm looking at myself on screen, and my hair looks nice right now.
It does look
It
nice.
does look nice.
So like,
And
I
listen,
keep
I'm a
it.
man
I keep
who never has nice hair, so I don't want to put you in a bad spot.
You don't
So
have any hair, but yeah.
or any hair. Yeah,
Who's your
exactly.
favorite Australian football player?
Scott Pendlebury. Do you know Scott Pendlebury's work? I'm a big
No.
Collingwood Magpies fan.
I'm a big Mick Wisnowski fan.
Okay, there
That's
you go.
my guy.
Yeah,
He's my
yeah, I
punter.
like it.
I have a 29-year-old punter who's in his 3rd year. It's amazing. Like he was 27 as a rookie. It's like, what are you? What's his name? Weeding. What was his name? Who was the Oklahoma State quarterback that came in? Like he was super old.
Oh, Brandon Whedon. Brandon Whedon.
Yeah,
Brandon
Yeah,
Whedon.
sorry. Yeah, it took me a
That's
second.
what it reminded me of. I was like, I have a
Brandon
rookie that's older than I
Right.
am. That's amazing.
That's hilarious. Hey, we understand you're in addition to being an accomplished singer
Thank you.
and tight end, we understand you're also like a massive WWE fan.
Occasionally.
Like, so, you know, we're on Peacock. We're part of the NBC family, right?
Yeah.
And the WWE is a great partner of ours. I recently said I thought I would be a good manager. Like I'm not there yet. Like, but I think
Paul
I'd be a
Heyman?
pretty good manager. Any chance we ever see you in the ring? Would you be a manager? Could I manage you if you ever got in the ring?
I mean, so you're saying you'd be like Paul Heyman for like Brock
exactly.
Lesnar or Roman Reigns?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could pull that off too. You might like. I think you need to go the suit route. Like you need to get
Yes.
a nice suit, some nice shoes. You just got to kind of yell into the mic. Sometimes
I'm
they
good
don't
at
need to
that.
understand you. You just
Right.
got to yell really loud so you sound important. But I'm open to any opportunity. I mean, I love wrestling. I've been in the ring a couple times. WWE is one of my favorite organizations to work with. Everything that they do is so top notch, and they're just so incredible. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm going to play football as long as I possibly can because I love it so much. And after that, we'll see what happens.
All right.
I love
Fair
that
enough.
you're a massive fan occasionally, which is kind of an interesting kind of juxtaposition. I like that. Did you play any other sports growing up?
Let's see. My favorite other sport was probably soccer.
Okay.
I love soccer. Basketball's up there. I could not dribble to save my life. I only have a right hand. No left-handed layups possible. Besides that, though, I think my favorite sport is either right now what I'm working on. I love hockey, Nashville Predators. I live in Nashville. I go to so many hockey games. But what I'm getting into right now is curling.
Wow.
I'm joining a curling league in Nashville with a couple of my NFL guys, and I'm going to try to see what I can do. There's Mark Bolger has a curling club down there, and
that's hilarious.
Jaron Allen practices there.
Okay.
And so he's trying to go to the Olympics, and so I'm not trying to go to the Olympics yet.
Right.
But I'm going to get into this curling league because it sounds like a blast.
By the way, that's a reality show. We should do that on Peacock. George Kittle's attempt to make the Olympic curling team. That's
Yeah.
a reality show.
That's unbelievable.
Waiting
It's
to happen.
fun. Have you guys
I
ever
bet.
tried? It's so
I've never
fun.
tried it, but I've
It's not
seen
that
it's
hard.
hilarious.
It seems difficult.
No, it's not that hard. It's really not. You just don't
Yeah.
fall over when you slide it.
I understand. You're a professional athlete. Things that are not hard for you are hard for us mortals.
You're right. That is true. That is true.
I
I'll give you that one.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, so we're a fantasy football show, so I'm curious. Have you ever played fantasy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So when I was actually a really young kid, I was probably like 7 or 8, and this was like first or second fantasy football ever.
Yeah.
I was so excited about the fantasy football draft because there was like a specific date, someone else said it, and my dad was playing, he was just helping me. And I thought you actually get to meat the players and draft them onto your football team as a kid. I was like, this is going to be awesome. I get to meet all these cool players. I get to meet Brian Urlacher and all this stuff. That's not how it works.
Right.
I did. I played all the way through college, a little bit in the NFL. I never draft myself though.
Now, why
Really?
is that? That's interesting. You're the first player that has played fantasy that hasn't drafted themselves.
Because all my friends draft me before I get the pick.
Yeah,
That's okay. That makes sense.
And like, I'm not going to draft myself first if I have the first pick. I don't draft it tight end first, and like it doesn't make sense unless you're picking Travis Kelce, who gets 10 targets a game, because like he's going to get 100 yards a game minimum. So that's a great pick. But other than that, like that's not usually my first pick. I always pick Christian McCaffrey as my first pick because I think he's the best player in football, honestly.
Do you trade for yourself?
No, it's all right. And like again, I haven't played in about 3 years.
Okay.
But early on in my career, I would always play. It was really fun.
How often does it come up when fans come up to you and they talk to you? How often does
99% of the time.
I bet it does. Hey, you are here with us courtesy of Old Spice. Talk to me about the partnership with Old Spice and why you decided to work with them.
Well, it's an honor to work with Old Spice. They choose a select few guys to represent them in their swagger campaign. You get guys like Trey Lance, CeeDee Lamb, guys that certainly have swagger. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he caught it.
Come on.
Wow.
How about that?
That
right?
looked like
Kittle-esque.
Dallas. That's crazy.
Two George
Kittle-esque.
Kittles.
That's crazy. So yeah, Old Spice swagger campaign. Wow, look at us up here. This was here before I even got here because you guys wanted it so bad. But this is what it is. Hey, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
If I had something in my teeth, you would tell me.
I would.
Right? Because we're on TV, a lot of cameras, a lot of people around, a lot of viewers.
1,000%. We want you to look your best.
But if, like, let's just say he smelled bad,
right?
It's kind of hard to tell someone that because there's not much you can do about it,
no,
right?
There's nothing.
So why not just instead start your day with Old Spice, be protected 24/7, smell great, be confident in yourself, and then you can take on the world, man. So let's just start with Old Spice swagger. It's just a good idea.
I like it. I like it. Listen, and by the way, if you had a product that called Old Spice swagger and you're looking for a pitchman, who's better than George? All right, before we let you go, because I know there's a lot of places that want to talk to you. This weekend features two great tight ends in Travis Kelce and Dallas Goedert. Who do you think wins this game? You guys have played both these teams.
So, two things for you. One, I'm going to give the Christian McCaffrey answer. I hope they both lose.
Okay, fair.
Love that. But my prediction for the game is this. It all depends on how the Eagles take away Travis Kelce. If you watch the Chiefs the entire season, they go to Travis anytime it's a third down, anytime it's a second and long to convert the change, move the change, keep Patrick Mahomes on the field. Because when Mahomes is on the field, that's why everyone loves Patrick Mahomes. He's fantastic. He makes these plays. He extends things. He makes up throws as he goes, underhand, behind the back. He does crazy stuff. Kelsey's the one that keeps him on the field all the time, right? Eagles, if they take him away like the Patriots do or like Tampa did in the first half of the Super Bowl a couple years ago, if they can do that, I think the Eagles have a chance to win. If Travis runs rampant, I think the Chiefs are going to win by 2 touchdowns.
What do you think happens? So make a pick.
I know you hope both of them
I just
want to see the first drive, and what I like, if I was a defensive coordinator, I would put an outside linebacker on the ball line of scrimmage wherever Travis is and have an average cover guy right behind them and just have them double team him the whole day and make anybody else on the roster beat me.
We will see if that plays out that way. George Kittle, this has been the definitive George Kittle interview. Good luck with Old Spice. Good luck next year. It's a pleasure to have you. When we come back, fantasy football royalty. What?
No, we're going to throw now to
interview Austin
direct. Ekeler.
Oh, I thought we were
Austin,
going to a break, and then, but no, apparently we interviewed Austin Ekeler yesterday, George Kittle, and had a great conversation.
He's good.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and we'll all enjoy it together right now.
Oh,
good. You can watch it with us, George.
I think I have to leave.
Hand off to Ekeler. Ekeler hits the hole, and he's through to the 40, to the 50, to the 40. It's a foot race. 30, 20, 10. Austin Ekeler, touchdown! Chargers. 72 yards, a new career long.
Austin Ekeler picking his feet up through traffic, and then he's able to locate another gear once he got out into the open field. Leonard Floyd giving it everything he's got. You're not going to catch Austin Ekeler.
There you see it. Huge run against the Rams. Number 30 on the field, number 1 in our hearts, number 1 in fantasy points overall. My fantasy ride or die, Austin Ekeler joins the show, friend of fantasy. Let me ask you this. There's so much that we can get into, but we've had you on the show before. Thank you for coming back on the show. Always welcome. Love having you. When we last had you on the show, you said you were in 6 leagues, but you're only able to draft yourself in 3 of them because people keep snaking you out. So I know that all the teams that I have Austin Ekeler in, I won my leagues. Ooh. So in the 3 leagues that you had Austin Ekeler in, did you win? Because you crushed down the playoffs.
Yeah, it didn't end up coming out as successful as your leagues were. First off, thanks for having me back.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a rough one for the Austin Ekeler leagues this year. My 3 leagues, even that I had myself in, I didn't even make the playoffs in any of my leagues. So back to the drawing board.
All right. Well, I think the one thing that did work, I think, was drafting yourself. Like, if the teams that didn't win didn't lose because of you.
No, I was definitely doing my part. Yes, I was doing my part. It was the other aspects of my teams that were, needed to step it up. Absolutely.
Feels like feels like fantasy Austin Ekeler needs to talk to the fantasy locker room of your teams
Right, exactly,
and
yeah.
get everyone on the same page.
I know. We need to be producing, right? This is a representation of how we're playing on the field, right? So let's get that up there. But no, it was still a fun year, and I always loved tapping into the fantasy community. So looking forward to trying to get next year.
Yeah.
I imagine that 95% of people who come up to you about fantasy have to be pretty complimentary. Is that about a right kind of percentage?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's such a great add to the NFL, right? What it brings levels of engagement to sports, right? And so when you're able to have success and bring other people's success, whether it's in the betting or whether it's in the fantasy realm, it's like it's music to my ears because I want to tap in. I want that attention. I love the interaction that we can have.
Austin, are you surprised? Because in addition to being a running back, I mean, you're a really smart businessman. You know, I mean, like you have your fingers in a lot of pies, and you're doing a lot of very entrepreneurial things. And just as somebody who looks at things maybe slightly differently than some other players, are you surprised that other players haven't embraced fantasy as well as you have? Like, you've really become sort of the poster boy, if you will, for NFL player that embraces the fantasy football community.
Right.
It helps with your on-field success, obviously,
Right.
but I don't know that there's an NFL player that has embraced it the way you have, and I'm surprised because it feels like it's helped your career.
Well, I think I've had like some realizations over the past few years, which has really helped me, I think, distinguish what real value is. And one of those was having a community and being able to connect and network. And so when that became really important to me, I started putting a lot more effort into it. And then it was right in front of my face. It was like fantasy football is one of the biggest opportunities that I haven't really tapped into. And that was a few years back. And so I was like, let me start tapping into this community because, like you said, like it brings so much value, right? You have now, not only do I have the Charger fans that are rooting for me, but I have fans all across the world, that are either betting on me or have me on their fantasy team. I have fans that don't even watch football, but they have me on their fantasy team. Like, hey, you want me in my fantasy? And I'm like, I'm tapping into these networks that are there, but it just takes a little bit of effort. It takes me talking about it. I do like a show, but before I was just doing like little giveaways, thanking people that have me on their team for believing in me, and it just goes so far. So I would hope guys start seeing it. Hopefully I can set the bar like, hey, there's value here to be had.
Right, and even, by the way, even the smallest things, like I remember this year after the first couple of games you hadn't scored, you said, don't worry, fantasy managers, the touchdowns are coming, I got you. Like, even just acknowledging, like, hey, I know it's been a slow start to the season fantasy-wise, but I got you, it's coming, like, whatever. Like, even just the smallest acknowledgement that, hey, I know there are people out there that are rooting for me because they aren't Chargers fans, but because they've drafted me.
Yeah. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's powerful, and it goes beyond the connection of just the football field, because like even during the offseason, it puts my face in front of them, right? Like people, I would say 90% of the people that come up to me are talking about fantasy, right? And obviously had a good year, but it's like that's so powerful because I have my Chargers community, like I said, but now this is tapped into a whole new role. Now when I go to push other things that I have going on, right, I have more people that are supporting me, my foundation, more people that are donating from their winnings, from things like that. And so it has this trickle-down effect throughout my entire ecosystem that I'm trying to build.
Is that something where I guess more people come up to you perhaps than other players because if I was walking around and I saw Keenan Allen, I'd be like, oh, I don't really know what to say to Keenan Allen, but with you I might go up to you and say, oh, thank you so much for your fantasy stuff. That must be a thing where more than other players in your position where you've got people coming up to you for that.
And look, we all have different personalities, right? And so for me, I keep an open mind, like, because I know how important, like I said, I put a lot of value in relationships and meeting people and understanding and at least asking them, like asking them questions. Like when I do meet and greets, I have the longest line because I take like 30 seconds with people just asking them where they're from, what they're a little about their story, right? Because I want to make that interaction something that is meaningful to them, right? I want people to have some type of memory with me because as players, as influential people, our legacy lives within the memories of our fans, right? And so once my career's over, who is Austin Ekeler? Well, it's going to be that time we met at that one meet and greet and did that one thing, or I talked to him about fantasy. And so this is an opportunity for me to continue to build and implement my message through my legacy, right? Another conduit that I can use to get my message across.
Which is so brilliant, and you've done it perfectly, and we in the fantasy community appreciate it because it's a two-way street, right? Because having a player of your caliber say, hey, no, fantasy should be part of the conversation, helps us as well, right? And it helps what we do, when we can point to, hey, we're not just off to the sides, we're having, real conversations with NFL players that at the highest level. Let's talk Chargers football here for a second, right? Let's talk Chargers football. tough end of the season, for you guys. Sorry about that. How, based on last year, and now there's a change of coordinator. Have you talked to Kellen Moore at all about? Have you guys connected?
Yeah.
And he's talked about what your role in the offense will be.
No deep talk. It was really just the introduction, and I just let him know, like, you saw how our season ended. Like, you're coming into a hungry group that wants to get back to that because we know we have more in the tank. Like, we know that that's not us. Like, that we have so much better football to be played than what was shown on that last half of that game during the last postseason game. And so that was really the conversation, introducing him, and I just let him know that before he got out of there. He was at Disney World with his family, so he was making the rounds at the same time when he got hired. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to having him in there and getting started.
Well, certainly when you see what he did with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, you have to sort of say, like, all right, maybe another good year coming for Austin Ekeler.
It was the same with Joe Lombardi, right? And he had Kamara, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, like, I've gotten some coordinators that have really had a lot of success. And, it takes two things to really, put a winning season together. You need the players, to be able to do it, but you also need the strategic part of it. And you put those together, and it's, a marriage for something good to happen. And, sometimes there's some bitterness, sometimes, in a marriage, sometimes there's things you got to work through, sometimes it doesn't work out. I feel like that's what happened with Joe, where it's not, I don't think he's a bad coordinator. It's just maybe the mesh, the organization didn't think it like a mesh as well as it could have, right? So they're like, oh, let's try someone new. And then same thing with even Kellen in Dallas, like top of the line as far as, in the categories, statistics, all these things, but it's like they wanted to maybe try someone new. So, hey, we'll see if our marriage will work out.
Yep. I thought it was a massive mistake for Dallas to let go of Kellen Moore, and I thought it was a great hire by the Chargers. So, from a fantasy perspective, I'm going to be in on the Chargers offense next year. I'll tell you that much now.
I think the popular criticism from the cheap seats of the Chargers offense has been that you guys don't throw the ball deep enough. And I think that, a big part of that is Rashawn Slater being hurt, and that ties into all of that. Do you think that the deep passing game is going to be a bigger aspect of next season?
And hang on, before you answer that, I want to just add something to it. I feel like Jalen Guyton's injury was really underreported in terms of what.
That's where I was going to go with that.
Oh, okay, good. Please go.
I was going to go with that because you can't just throw the ball deep.
Yep.
Like, let's just have someone go and run deep, right? That's what it looks like on TV.
Yeah.
But no, you're going to get picked off if you do that, because if you don't have anyone that can take off the top, right, and make these DBs turn and run, and they can just backpedal and play the ball the whole time, it's going to get picked off. So you got to have someone with the elite speed, not just like a normal speed. They got to be able to run by guys out there. And so when we lost Jalen Guyton, that was our guy. He was our speed guy, and he was really the only speed guy we had on the roster as far as the caliber to actually do what we needed to do to throw it deep. We have Mike Williams, but he's not the speed guy. He's just going to dunk over you every time, and that's hard on his body. We've seen that play out, shoulders and backs, so we don't want to be throwing up jump balls to him across the middle of the field all the time. And so it comes down to you have to play with who you have. What is the identity of the Chargers offense? That's how we have to play, and it wasn't the deep part of the field there in this last year.
Yep, that makes sense. Mike Williams also banged up a lot of the season as well, which I'm sure tied into that.
Yeah, and Keenan. Yeah.
All right, listen. Everyone knows you're maybe the season didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you are an astute fantasy manager, and you know what we're looking for. So, outside of Big Mike and Keenan, like, give me an under the radar Charger that we should be looking for next year when we go into drafts.
Ooh, under the radar Charger, Mike Keenan. Well, man, because we got Mike Keenan, me. Right, Gerald Everett, who was playing a role, had a couple good games in the fantasy space.
Yep.
Man,
it's just someone that impresses you in practice that you think like
Josh Palmer does. Josh Palmer, I think he has growth in front of him. Like he was in his second year last year, so he's going to be coming into his third year. And for my third year, I felt like I really understood the game of football, was able to grow. I felt like I feel like I'm a pro now. And so I want to see Josh Palmer come alive more this year, and I think he's got an opportunity. He's going to be able to do that.
I like that call. All right. Division rivals in the Super Bowl. Do you want the Chiefs to win because, hey, at least the AFC West is representing? Or you're like, no, I hate the Chiefs. Screw it. Go fly, Eagles, fly. Where are you at?
I have no hard feelings for any of the teams, right? Like I have friends on both teams, right? So I'm rooting those guys on mainly. But as far as the results of the game, I could care less. I think the Eagles have a little bit more firepower, and I think that's going to end up helping them. So I think I give the edge to the Eagles, is what I like to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't have a rooting interest.
Nah, not really.
And if you had to pick a winner, you're picking the Eagles, but it doesn't feel like you feel strongly about it.
I want to root for myself. I want to root for myself there. So if I'm not there, I just root for my guys that are playing in it.
Fair enough. Well, Austin, is there anything else we can promote? You're doing so much.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah. Well, I'm here on behalf of Sleep Number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So
They didn't tell me that. So tell me about Sleep Number.
Let's dive into it. I've been working with Sleep Number for a long time. 80% of players are using Sleep Number beds nowadays. So that, that shows you that, the reputation, right, is stuck. And, right, we're all, committing to Sleep Number beds. And for me, it's like, sleep is just crucial, right, to have the energy to actually get going, right? So it's like, okay, when I notice when I don't sleep on my Sleep Number bed, because my Sleep Number bed is like custom to me. Like I have my setting, my Sleep Number is 50, like it's perfect for my body. It adjusts overnight. When it gives me, it's a motion sensor where it's like, it feels like you have a sensitive spot right here. You're putting too much weight, it'll adjust you when you're sleeping. It's like, it's pretty cool. It's like, shh. Right, you just feel it sometimes. It's like, there we go. And so I love my Sleep Number bed. Like I said, 80%. And so we're trending in this direction where good sleep has been represented in the NFL by Sleep Number. So, I have to shout them out while I'm here with them.
No question. Well, thank you to Sleep Number for making Austin Ekeler valuable. And Austin Ekeler, thank you to you, the #1 running back in fantasy on a points per game basis. Over 1,500 yards from scrimmage 3 of the last 4 years. Last 2 seasons, 38 touchdowns from scrimmage. Dude, that is 12 more than any other player in the NFL. Like, it's not just the most,
keep it going.
It's the most by a lot. You had over 18 fantasy points in 11-17 fantasy points. You were a delight. You were a friend of fantasy. You were a friend of football fans. Good luck to you and the Chargers next year. You're always welcome, my friend. We love you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for having me on as always, and I appreciate the support throughout the year.
There you go. My fantasy ride or die, Austin Ekeler.
My guy.
There you go, the definitive Austin Ekeler interview from one fantasy royalty running back to another. James Conner joins us next segment when we come back. All right, we are back. We are back on the show. We are back live on Radio Row, and we are now joined once again by another fantasy football superstar, James Conner, the 10th best running back in fantasy on a points per game basis this year. And by the way, fantasy superstar, especially when it mattered. 18 or more fantasy points in 5 of the last 7 games this season. So as fantasy teams were heading to the playoffs, James Conner put them on his back. Welcome, my friend. You're here because fear is a choice.
Fear is a choice, absolutely.
Yeah, your book, congratulations on your autobiography being published. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the first thing I want to just ask is, have you ever played fantasy football? How does it come up in your life that often?
Yeah, as you can imagine, it comes up every day. You know, seeing the fans and everybody, even family. Everybody. Fantasy football. Won me a championship, sent me to the playoffs and that. So it's fun. I never played, personally, but just to hear how it makes everybody else's day. I'm honored to be a part of it. It's fun.
So your friends and family, are they texting? They hitting you up for sleepers, saying like, all right, who else can I? I'm drafting you. I'm going to start you today. Like,
yeah, they just making sure I'm going to make sure they saying get in that end zone for me like 2-3 times today. Right. So yeah, they're just trying to give me some encouragement to get them some points.
James, tough season for Arizona on a team level, but fantastic season for you individually. What are some of your thoughts on the season in reflection now?
It was a blessing to get through the season. So I never take the game for granted. Obviously things didn't go the way we wanted to this year. We made some changes, but. It was just a rough year. We want to be better, but we're going to try to put the pieces together next year and just try to do something special. We get an opportunity.
So this year you racked up the most rushing yards you've had since that breakout 2018 year with the Steelers. Did you have a feeling this was going to be your year? I think people forget you came to Arizona on a 1-year prove-it deal. Mm-hmm. You proved it. And then, I think some people feel like, oh, well, after they get the big deal, maybe they won't have the kind of success they did. But then you have this monster season.
Yeah, that's, my work ethic will never change, no matter the success that I have, and I still want to do a lot more in this league. I still want to accomplish many great things. And so every year I'm just going to try to come in and compete and just play hard and have myself ready. So I still got bigger goals and bigger dreams, but I'm definitely still hungry, never satisfied. So I'm excited to get back out there for another opportunity.
Yep. James, one of the most interesting things about your season, I think, was that you had 56 targets in the passing game, 48 receptions, so just outstanding work as a receiver. Is that something that you think you'll continue to build on next season?
Absolutely. Just trying to be available and just trying to be an athlete out there, and just not wanting to just be able to just run the ball, but just get involved in the offense and just be available passing game, pass protection, running, blocking, everything. So, it's definitely something I just want to continue to improve on and just try to take my game to the next level.
And it definitely seemed like Kyler trusts you even more and more. He knows that if he dumps it off to you or if he's looking for you in the flat, that you're coming down with the ball. So It feels like there's a real connection there. I want to ask you about your health. Early in the season, you dealt with some injuries. Injuries have been a part of your career, but 5 of the last 7 games, you played over 90% of the snaps. How are you feeling after that massive workload? Are you hoping next year to have that kind of a workload, or like, hey, let's get Ingram some more work, like, take a little bit off of me so that that you can be fresh all season long?
Yeah, it's I missed some time early in the year, due to a fluke injury. I had a rib injury and it sidelined me, and but then this towards the end of the season, just like, man, we got to get it going, try to turn things around if we can. So I just wanted to really just be out there and just try to do the most for the team and try to win. So that's why the numbers and the percentage were the way they were. But no, Keontae is obviously he's got a lot to prove, and he's able to do it. He's a hell of a talent. And so we're gonna work next year and have a smooth rotation going, and everybody will get a chance to show off what they got. But I'm just gonna take charge and have those guys and just try to lead that room.
Yep. I know the Cards played against both the Chiefs and the Eagles this season. Do you think one of those teams has the upper hand on Sunday?
Yeah. Man, the Chiefs came out week 1 and put a lick on us, so it's hard to root against them, what they're going to do. But that Philadelphia defense is the real deal. That front seven and their secondary. So whoever the most physical team, I think, is going to take it. We know the Kansas City Chiefs going to be well prepared, but the Eagles is going to be real physical. So the game will be one up front.
Do you have a pick?
I think I might go with the Chiefs. There
you go. I think you're the first person who's come on.
I think like 35-30 or so like that.
Wow, we like the Chiefs as well, but everyone that's been coming on has been saying the Eagles are like, so good, thank you. James Conner is smart, so I like this. Fear is a choice. Talk to me about your autobiography. Why did you decide to write it now? Talk to me about the themes of the book.
The theme of this book is just really faith. It's tackling a life challenge with dignity, faith, and determination. But my main thing is just faith. Writing this from the situation that I went through in 2015, with my battle with cancer, my faith just took a leap. And so my faith is the strongest it's ever been right now. And this book really just talks about that. And everybody's going through a hard time, sometime at some points in life, you can't really escape adversity. And so it's a choice to go through it however you want to go through it. And so mine is to lean on my faith, lean on the Lord, lean on God, and everything that He's done for me. So that's my man.
Yep. Okay. Coming off of that, James, any specific goals for the off season? I know you had an amazing season and you're a pretty well-rounded player, but is there anything that you really specifically want to work on this off season?
Oh man, the game is always going to be about who's the most in shape. So I just got to continue to do that and just bring my best self. We got a lot of change. We got a new general manager. We're gonna have a new head coach. So my goal is gonna be learning this new playbook and competing.
Yeah, I was curious. What are you hoping to see? Have they talked to you at all about what they're looking for in a coach? Maybe an offensive-minded coach like what you previously had, or going more defense-oriented? What are you hoping for out of a head coach? I guess
selfishly, somebody who wants to run the ball.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I want. I haven't, had any talks, and I don't know who it's going to be. So I'm anxious, just like everybody else, to see who it's going to be. But I trust in our organization and our owner Michael Bidwell, and put us in the best position to be successful.
Very quickly, have you texted with Kyler? How's he doing in his recovery?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's in attack mode right now. He's rehabbing hard, and I know he's ready to get out there and when the time is right, and show everybody that his comeback.
Can't wait to see it, James. Congratulations on an amazing fantasy season. Hope for better things next year for the Cardinals. We know you'll keep grinding, and good luck with Fear is a Choice, which is available wherever you get books. James Conner, everyone. We'll be back right after this.
Every season is draft season, Matthew. Get your Rotoworld Draft Guide bundle today and dominate your football, baseball, and basketball drafts. Packed with profiles, rankings, projections. Order today and get all 3 Rotoworld Draft Guides for the price of 2. Plus use promo code BERRY, BERRY, and get 20% off. All right, let's wrap the week, Matthew.
Yes. Let's wrap the week and wrap the season, Jay Croucher. So this is our very last show on Peacock. Next Tuesday, we'll have another show that'll be available on demand wherever you get podcasts, on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel. But this is the end of our first season on Peacock, Jay. And I just want to take a moment here to thank you. It has been absolutely awesome getting to know you, having you spoil movies for me. You've absolutely crushed it this year. I want to thank you and Connor Rogers and Lawrence Jackson and Denny Carter and Rotopat and Pat Carrain and everyone that we've had as a guest on the show. I want to thank Stephen D'Agostino, Ryan Burke, even Brian Rubin. I even want to thank him. Pete Domalatis, all of our producers, Daniel Cranon, Damian Dabrowski. Who am I forgetting, Jay?
Matt Casey, Alexa
Matt Casey,
as well.
Alexa, yeah.
I like the shout out to Brian Rubin floating above from his NHL little sphere.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been a phenomenal year. Thank you to my friend. It's been great doing the show.
Really fun.
Really looking forward to next season as well. And also we'll be doing shows between then as well.
We will. There will absolutely be an off-season schedule and we'll be broadcasting live from the NFL Draft, from the NFL Combine. So we will continue to be a presence in your life. And by the way, our friends at Applebee's, I have to make sure I thank you Applebee's, thank you BetMGM, terrific sponsors and partners of us. We get goofy, and they've been nothing but terrific partners to us. So thank you. Go eat it at Applebee's. Go make a bet at BetMGM. Support the show. We appreciate that. But it's been an awesome year. I just wanted to take a moment. We're supposed to be talking Super Bowl props. At this point, you don't know who you're betting on the Super Bowl. No, but listen. When I left ESPN, I just didn't know what to expect. And coming over here and starting a brand new show, I was a little bit nervous. And everyone at NBC, top to bottom, on-camera talent, everyone behind the scenes has been nothing but incredibly supportive, nice, smart, creative. They've made my crappiness look good. And so it's just, you never know when you're starting a new job, right? You never know how it's going to go. And it's been a magical year, and I've never been happier in my professional career, and I thank you and everyone associated with the Fantasy Football Happy Hour for that. So thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right. And for the last time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's last call. Peace out from Arizona. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.